If you've been gardening for any amount of time, you already know that the soil is where everything begins. Healthy plants aren't accidents, they're the result of a living, breathing, nutrient-rich foundation. But what if I told you that one of the best plant growth boosters I've ever used didn't come from a store, a fancy gardening catalog, or a workshop? Instead, I found it right under my feet, growing wild, overlooked, and often tossed into the compost pile as nothing but a weed. The day I discovered the power of a common weed, stinging nettle, along with just 3 basic kitchen ingredients, everything about how I feed my soil changed. The growth was noticeably faster, richer color, stronger stems, bigger leaves, deeper roots, not overnight magic but real biological improvement. And today, I'm going to share exactly how I do it, why it works, and how you can replicate the results in your own garden, no matter your climate, soil type, or experience level. No fluff, no vague advice, just the real method I use every growing season on my Soilpower garden. If you've ever brushed against stinging nettles, you probably didn't walk away thinking, wow, what a miracle plant. But nettles are one of the most nutrient-dense greens on the planet, for humans and the soil. Nettles are naturally rich in, several key nutrients. Nitrogen, which is absolutely vital for leafy growth. Calcium, which strengthens cell walls and helps prevent blossom end rot. Magnesium, essential for chlorophyll production. Iron, which really boosts green, lush growth. And, let's not forget, trace minerals. These are often missing in commercial fertilizers. Nettles are basically nature's slow-release multivitamin for the soil, but instead of composting them and waiting months, we can convert them into a quick-acting liquid plant feed. That's where the other 3 ingredients come in. To turn nettles into a powerful growth booster, we need to feed the microbes that break down the nutrients and make them available to plant roots. Remember, plants don't eat fertilizer, they eat microbe-transformed nutrients. The 3 ingredients I use are, first, molasses, a microbial feast that wakes up soil biology, then garlic, which is a mild natural pest deterrent and an antimicrobial balancer, and finally, rice water, or starch water, which provides carbohydrates that fuel microbial multiplication. Together, these ingredients create a rich, biologically active fertilizer tea that plants can absorb quickly. This isn't just feeding plants, it's feeding the soil life that feeds your plants. You don't need special tools, just a bucket, your ingredients, and, a bit of patience. You'll need 1 large handful, or more, of fresh nettle leaves, 2 liters of clean water, 1 tablespoon of molasses, 2 cloves of garlic, crushed, 1 cup of rice water from rinsing rice before cooking, and a container with a loose-fitting lid. Instructions: chop or crush the nettles to break the cell walls. This helps nutrients release faster. Add them to your container and pour in the water. Stir in the molasses until it's dissolved. Add the crushed garlic and the rice water. Cover the container, but do not seal it airtight. Fermentation gases need to escape. Leave the mixture in a warm, shaded spot for 7 to 10 days. Stir once daily to introduce oxygen and prevent stagnation. When the liquid turns deep green and smells earthy, strain it. You now have concentrated plant fuel. Okay, so here's the deal. Always dilute before use. That's really important. I go with 1 part nettle tea to 8 parts water, and, I feed my plants about once every 7 to 10 days during their active growth phase. For seedlings and young plants, I like to start with a weaker dilution, around 1 to 12, just to avoid overwhelming them. I've honestly found this works especially well on tomatoes, peppers, leafy greens, beans, cucumbers, and really, any flowering or fruiting plant. You'll notice roots deepen, leaves gain gloss and intensity, and growth becomes strong and confident, not leggy and pale. Just remember, consistency is way more powerful than intensity. This is a biological system, not a chemical spike. Most store-bought fertilizers deliver nutrients in a chemical form. They're fast-acting, sure, but often short-lived and sometimes harmful to microbes when overused. But this nettle formula, it works differently. It feeds the soil microbes first. These microbes, they really do some amazing work. They break down minerals and make them soluble, improve root structure and nutrient uptake, convert organic matter into stable humus, and even protect roots from those pesky disease-causing organisms. Instead of forcing plants to grow, what we do is create the conditions where they choose to grow vigorously. That's the Soilpower way. I remember the first time I tried this, I had 2 tomato beds growing side by side, same soil, same sunlight, same watering schedule. I fed one bed with this nettle mixture once weekly. By week 3, the treated tomatoes were almost twice as tall. Their leaves were a deeper, brighter green. Stems were thicker and more resilient to wind. Root mass was visibly greater when I inspected a sacrificial plant. Blossoms appeared earlier, and in greater number. By harvest, I wasn't just impressed. I was convinced. I have never gone a season without nettle tea since. And I'm not alone. Every gardener I've shared this with has reported similar improvements in health, yield, and resilience. Fermentation produces natural odors. It's normal. If the smell becomes rotten, that means lack of oxygen. Just stir it and leave the lid slightly looser. The results are worth it, trust me. There is no bottle, no powder, no brand that can outperform a living soil ecosystem. The best gardening resources are, honestly, the weeds at your feet, the scraps in your kitchen, and the microbes silently working beneath your plants. When you feed the soil life, well, it feeds you. This isn't a hack. This is gardening the way nature intended. I'd love for you to try this in your own garden and see the difference firsthand. Make it, use it, and just observe your plants over the next few weeks. The moment you see that rich green glow of new growth, you'll understand exactly why this works. If this article helped you or gave you something new to try, share it with another gardener. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Soilpower on YouTube for more practical, experience-based gardening knowledge that works. Let's keep growing, stronger, wiser, and more in tune with the soil that sustains us. Subscribe, share, and let's spread Soilpower.